Hi guys, AZ Cabby Mama here. Welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a while since I made a video, and I say that pretty much every time lately. But again, I'm not getting that many new babies in because I do have a lot, and I kind of have my collection now to a place where I really like it. So when I come on, it's just finally I got a new addition to the collection that I want to share. So I have a new vintage UBaby to share with you guys today, and I also have a couple of other new babies that I wanted to show you that were special to me, doll related but not cabbies. So we'll talk more about that in just a moment, but let me go ahead without further ado and show you the baby that I got a few weeks ago on eBay. So I was pretty excited to bring her into the collection. I don't even think she has a name. Another one without a name, but I have so many that sometimes I want them because I think they're cute, and I don't always name them anymore. At one point I made them all name tags and I went that far with it, but the name tags started to like fall off and they would get mixed up and I was like starting to throw them in the drawers. So I kind of started to give up on keeping track of some of their names. If they don't come with papers, you know, it's whatever you really want to call them. So that's kind of what happened with a lot of them. But this little girl, I just thought she was a cutie. I liked the look of her face. It had that older look to me, which is a little bit of the bigger nose. I always say I'm not a big fan on the vintage babies of those tiny pinched nose that some of the ones that came out in towards the mid 80s started to have. Some of the ones in the very early 80s, the UBabies, do not have as pinched of a nose in my opinion. It's a bigger, more bulbous kind of tip of the nose, and that's just my personal preference. It reminds me more of like the 79 and the 80 hand-signed babies. So anyway, this girl, she didn't have any clothes when she came to me, so I dressed her in what I could find, and I think she's looking pretty cute. I believe this actually used to be my daughter's clothes, so, because I pulled them out of my old baby clothes boxes, and I was like, oh, this will work. But yeah, she's a real cutie. She's got these cute multiple braids on each side. I think it's like 6 braids. Little braids on each side. And as far as UBaby, when I say UBaby, I've mentioned it before, I do a lot of videos with UBabies. I'm a big fan of the UBabies because to me they're special because they're the older vintage, right after the hand-signed ones. So originally they were all hand-signed, and the UBabies were that edition when Xavier started to have the stamp used on the dolls that were being produced. So one of the things about the UBabies, you can tell it should have a tag that looks kind of like this one, where you have the Xavier Roberts signature in the middle. You'll also notice it says the little people. My eyes are going. I should probably have my glasses on. It does not mention Cabbage Patch Kids anywhere on the tag when it's a UBaby. And you does mean, again, I'm not sure if I said it, but you means unsigned. She has a very faded signature, and especially with the darker skin tone on this particular doll, it's going to be very hard for you guys to see it at all. But you can see it better in person. There's a very faint signature there, from a stamped signature, because again, she's a UBaby, unsigned. So when I see that tag, and oh gosh, now I can't get her diaper or her pants up. We'll just pull it for now. When I see that tag and the stamp like that one, then I typically know. And just from my experience of kind of the look of the face of most of the UBabies, I feel comfortable with saying this is a UBaby. So I do not have papers for her. A lot of the really good deals, the cheap ones that I find on eBay, I have to fix up, wash them up a little. I ran her through the washer, I believe. Pretty sure I did. It was a few weeks ago. I always do. I just feel better about it, that I know she's clean and she smells good then after that. I put them inside of a pillowcase and I tie it up. And I wash them in my washing machine, and sometimes I'll put a little fabric softener, the liquid kind, in there with it. I am not trying to tell anybody else to do it or recommend it because, again, I don't want anything to happen to your precious babies. And you know, there's always a risk. I know there's a risk involved when I do it myself, but on some of these ones that I get for such a great deal, I'm willing to take the risk because they're usually fine. I've done it a lot of times now. But anyway, I just love her. I think she's so cute. She's different from the other kids that I have. I don't have a lot of AA kids. That's what collectors will refer to, African American edition on these babies. I don't have a lot of the AA kids because I think they're harder to find, for one thing. There weren't as many probably produced at the time. I'm looking at one of my favorites right across the room right now, which I think it's Georgiana. It's not Georgia, Georgiana, I believe. She's from the Southern Belle edition, and she has a lighter skin tone than this girl. She's a real cutie. So I've shown her in a previous video, so I will try to link that actually for you if you want to check that one out. She was a real cutie as well. But she definitely has a different look. She's got a lighter skin tone and she has a lighter hair color as well, but she's really pretty. I love her too. But I believe those are the only two that I have at this time of the vintage AA kids. I do have others. You could see there's a Calico AA boy that I love up there with this great fuzzy hairdo. And then I have other of the more modern soft sculptured kids that I have behind me. You can see in the mocha skin tones. And then, trying to think, I have, gosh, I'm getting so out of practice, I'm forgetting the terms. I believe it's espresso that they call for the modern edition. So I believe that is the darker skin tone after mocha that I think I might have only one of that skin tone. So I really love the mocha and the newer soft sculpture editions that are still made from Babyland currently, modern day ones. I love the mocha skin color. I just think it looks really great, and you'll see a couple of the babies right up there. Those are mochas, those two boys right there, up there. And actually this one with the yellow shirt, he's also a mocha. So I think it's just a really beautiful skin tone, but that's the modern kids. I've never seen any vintage ones like that, so I don't think they have any ones in that particular skin tone in the vintage. But again, Georgiana, if you check out that other video with Georgiana, she does have a lighter skin tone than this baby. So she's a cutie. I absolutely love her. She is definitely a very dark skin tone, and really a great addition to my collection, different than any of the other babies that I had. So I was happy to get her. And then I'm so excited to share with you guys that I have a couple of other babies that I wanted to show that are not cabbies. They are actually, and you might see them behind me, my child dolls. When I was a kid, you know, around that same time that Cabbage Patch Kids were so popular, my child dolls were also out, and they were not quite the rage or the boom that they had with the Cabbage Patch Kids, but they were quite popular, and I know a lot of my friends had them, and I just love them. And I love that, like the Cabbage Patch Kids, there were all different ones with different hair color and eye color combinations. It wasn't just 1, 2, or 3. Not with my child, like they had all different color combinations as far as the hair and the eye color, just like the Cabbage Patch Kids. And so that made them, to me, a little more unique. And what I really liked about that, what appealed to me as a kid, was I wanted to get one that had my hair color and eye color, and that it could look like me. And so I have one that in my Cabbage Patch Kids that I had, that was one of my childhood dolls with brown hair and brown eyes. And she was, I believe, my 3rd baby. You know, she might have been my 4th. I can't remember if she was 3 or 4 because I got a preemie in there somewhere too. I can't remember if the preemie was 3, and I'm not sure. But anyway, I liked to have one that I felt, oh, this looks like it could really be my kid when I was little and playing with the dolls. So with the My Child dolls, I never got one that actually had the same hair color and eye color. I had long brown hair and brown eyes as a kid. And so I didn't need long brown hair, but I just wanted brown hair and brown eyes. And they were pretty hard to find, at least by the time I got into them. I remember there was one store that we would be able to sometimes find them. And I grew up in West Milford, New Jersey, and the place where we would go that we would sometimes find them, my mom would take me to Child World. The toy stores I remember as a child that were big were Toys R Us, I think it was KB Toy Store, which I remember being in the mall by my grandma's house in Paramus, New Jersey. And then there was Child World. And so Child World, I believe, was in Wayne, New Jersey. It was about a half-an-hour ride, and sometimes my mom would take me there. I'd be like, Mom, can we go? I want to see if I could find a My Child doll with the brown hair and brown eyes. So we never did find one, but we did sometimes get one. And some, they'd be hard to find in the store too. Like there'd be a couple up on a high shelf, and we'd have to ask, or we'd have to ask them, do you have any? And then they'd help us, and we'd find one or two. So it would be like a treasure to find one. So I don't know why they were so hard to come by, if it was just the area we lived. I mean, you couldn't just search it up online and find it easily that way. You had to actually like hoof it and go to these stores and hope that you're lucky and find what you're looking for back then. So they were a little hard to come by. I don't remember it was the craze everybody wanting them like the Cabbage Patch Kids and the Wild Rushes, but I know for the My Child dolls, at the point I was really getting into them, we didn't have a lot around by us. So I remember getting one, and I think it was for Christmas. My first one was a boy with blonde hair and blue eyes. And I remember being disappointed because I wanted a girl. You know, I was a little girl. I wanted a girl doll for my first one. But I liked him, and I named him Corey, I believe. And I don't know where he is. I don't know what happened to my original My Child doll, sadly. So I don't have him. I ended up also with one with long brown hair, but she had green eyes. And then I got one with the short little pigtails of the curly, like it was like almost like a frosted sandy blonde colored hair and brown eyes. So if I had put the two girls that I got together, I would have had brown hair, brown eyes, but they weren't. So anyway, fast forward, now that I collect dolls again, mostly cabbies, because that's really my greatest love, but I wanted to get at least one My Child doll, and I just stumbled upon one on eBay, which is actually this. Before I show you this one, I'll show you, this is the first one I got, which she just was in really good shape for a good price, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna get her. She's got these really pretty colored blue eyes. They almost look like a denim or a slight violet tint to them. She just was in very good shape. She still has like the paint, or I don't know how it looks like paint to me, of the eyelashes. Her lips are still mostly there. I mean, they're fading a little bit. She looked pretty good condition overall, very clean. Hair is in good shape. So I ended up getting her first, and I'm like, I had my one token My Child doll that I was like, I love her, because I remember loving the My Child dolls so much too. So I had her in the doll room for a while now, which I'm not in the doll room. This is my bedroom. So yes, this is like what I call, again, the West Wing of my doll room. I have my other doll room over there, but my daughters are home right now, and their rooms are on either side of the doll room. So I wanted to just be a little farther away for filming. I also have noisy birds out there, which you guys probably hear as well, chirping away. But if I go in the doll room, you might hear my daughters, or if they're napping, they're gonna hear me, and then they might come in and see what I'm doing in there. So I just thought it would be easier for me to film over here in the West Wing of the doll room, which is my bedroom. So this is my Child number 1 that I got, just in the last year, I believe, or so, and had her in my doll room. This one I just got on eBay within the last week. She just came in, and I finally got my baby with my brown hair and brown eyes that I've wanted for so long. So I was really excited about her. Now she, I will say, was not in the same excellent condition that the other one was in, as far as the paint of the eyelashes and everything. I had to actually redo this girl's. She had, like, you could see no eyelashes left. The condition of the eyes around, it looks like they're a little beat up, and she had, like, you could barely, there was like no mouth almost visible anymore on her. And I also washed these when they came in too. I did use some acrylic paint, and I did, some gentle touch-ups on the eyelashes and the lips to make her come back to life there. And I will say on these babies, I remember this, there's a tendency that the skin, almost, you'd call it the skin, right? The fabric that's on the face, it sags a little sometimes over time, especially if you wet the fabric to wash them. So I kind of gave her a little facelift because she had this big wrinkle in the middle of her forehead. So I kind of pulled it back, and I did a couple tucks with thread like in the hairline, where I'm hoping you don't really notice. I mean, if you look close, you might be able to see. It's not perfect, but it looks a lot better. So anyway, I have to probably fix up her hair a little better. I literally just got her in. I threw her in some cabbie clothes, as you guys can see, because I don't have the real My Child clothes, but I was just really happy. And I think maybe she was supposed to have the pigtails, so I'm gonna probably do the pigtails for her. So I'm really excited to finally have her with the brown hair and the brown eyes, what I've been searching for all of my childhood. So I wanted to pop on really quick because it's been a while. Say hi to you guys. I'm still here. I've got these two cute My Child dolls. They're not cabbies, but I figured some of you guys that collect, you might also have loved them as well back in the day, so I wanted to share them with you. And then this cute You Baby soft sculpture AA girl, which I was so happy to share with you as well. So thanks for popping on with me. I wanted to let you know, if you noticed, it was a while back, I changed the name of the channel slightly to Vintage Living with AZ Cabbie Mama, because there are some other vintage things that I collect and that I'm into that I might occasionally want to do a video on or bring onto the channel. So I'm kind of thinking about that. So if I ever come on one day and it's not particularly cabbie related, but it's vintage related, that is why, because, you know, we're all people with diverse interests, and this is one of my great loves, the dolls, the cabbies, but I also love other vintage things. I really am into the vintage lifestyle. So that is why, if you notice the name change on the channel a while back, I just wanted to address that as well and say hi to everybody. Thank you so much for any new subscribers, and for those of you that stuck around, because I know I don't make a lot of videos anymore like I used to, but I'm still here, I'm still collecting, I'm still loving these babies and vintage items in general. And so thanks again for saying hi. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and we will see you next time. Thank you guys. Bye.